Rise and shout. Indeed, it is time for What's Trending, presented by Bodyguards, protection for a life worth living. Learn more at bodyguards.com. Jarom, safe to say all losses hurt, and by nature carry frustration, what ifs, coulda, woulda, shouldas, and millions of couch quarterbacks after the fact. But not all losses are bad per se. That said, I'm about to ask a very divisive question. Was BYU's loss to Notre Dame bad?
I said as much on Saturday night. It's never a bad loss to Notre Dame.
Never.
Because Notre Dame. Now, certainly it was disappointing to not beat a beatable team, a team that lost to Marshall, a team that is perceived to be not at the same level that a typical Notre Dame team is at. Certainly that's disappointing. There were opportunities to win. Should BYU have won that game? Yes. BYU wasn't the better team. Notre Dame was the better team. Should BYU have played better in the first half and put itself in a position to win the game? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we chronicled as much. Are we thinking BYU's better than it is right now, though? I just wonder, because I went through the metrics this morning of FEI, SP+, Beta Rank, FPI, K-Ford, Sagarin. The composite of that has BYU at 46 in the country. They're not just looking at the score or who you play, they're looking at how you play and those results, right? In basketball, we break down all of these metrics. So BYU's 46. Do you know what Notre Dame is? Best shot. Guess what Notre Dame would be in this composite of those.
35.
18.
Whoa, higher than
Notre Dame is considered to be a good team. Well, they're not in the AP poll. The AP poll is an opinion poll from writers. It is certainly a metric that we value, but the metrics are saying Notre Dame's a good team.
But Jarom, BYU's better in the metrics than Notre Dame.
No, they're not.
Look,
no,
they're not.
They are not. So I don't think it's a bad loss. Also, it's Notre Dame. Can we have bad wins by definition then? Like if a team ends up stinking, like beating Pitt in 84 when they were ranked third, but then they go 3-7-1. Is that then a bad win?
Yeah, big in the moment.
Of course it's a good win.
Big in the moment, every win's good, right? Big in the moment,
yeah,
but maybe unimpressive is the word.
Sure. And the performance was worse than Notre Dame is. You know what I mean? It's like Notre Dame is going to be if they end up being a 6-win team, okay, maybe we feel worse about it because it's like, oh, they were super winnable. Trust me, if Notre Dame wins 10 games, BYU wasn't going to win that game. Does that make sense? Because that team's too good.
Well,
it typically doesn't win that game.
Sure, it's tough. It's really tough. Those type of wins are few and far between.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's tough to beat a 10-win team because there are like 8 10-win teams, 8 to 10 10-win teams every year. Maybe there are a few more than that.
They're really good.
Like
that's why you don't win that game.
There just aren't that many. Yeah. And like if you beat that team, like that's one more loss for them. So maybe they're 9-4 or they're 8-5 because you're adding to their loss column. So it's hard to beat a 10-win team because if you beat them, then they're probably not. It's tougher for them to get to 10 wins.
Made them a single-digit win team, perhaps. And there's probably 15-ish 10-win teams a year. BYU was 10-3 and finished 19th in the AP poll. So there are some 9-4, Power 5. The point is, I can see both sides of this, but my opinion is that is not a bad loss. The metrics are telling us that Notre Dame is better than you think. And, oh, by the way, it's Notre Dame. But obviously we're disappointed BYU lost. And BYU's not playing as well as last year's team, Spencer. That's the most disappointing thing right now, is why isn't this team equal to or better than last year? I would argue that playing the Pac-12 and having those wins is one reason. Another is no Tyler Algier. That is a bigger loss than we thought. I think we thought the run game would be better than it has been, which we'll get into in a moment with our second trending topic. But I'm going to say not a bad loss. And obviously disappointing that you lose. But losing Notre Dame, 18th in the composite metrics I just put together, that's not a bad loss.
In a world of filters and lenses on your camera phones, it depends on what filter and lens you're looking through. For a BYU fan, 2 days removed from a frustrating loss, I can understand why they say, it's a bad loss because BYU's better than that team, and they just started so poorly, and so it's bad because it takes BYU out of the top 25. Yes, those things are certainly impactful. Outside of the BYU lens, realm, filter, if you poll any national analyst and say, okay, straight up, was that a bad loss by BYU to Notre Dame? No analyst in their right mind is going to be like, oh, it's a terrible loss and it's going to reflect awfully on the Cougars' resume and schedule moving forward. No. Notre Dame feels like an 8-win team. They're probably going to go 8-4 in the regular season. They'll get some things back on track with their new coach, Marcus Freeman. They might even win a bowl game, go 9-4. At the end of the season,
If it's a significant bowl game, they won't.
at the but it's true. It stings Notre Dame fans because it's true.
I wish BYU even just played in those games.
Okay.
So I'm jealous.
But the point is, it's nobody with any sort of national analyst title as far as college
Or even
football
a regional fan. If you asked an Arkansas fan, was that a bad loss?
Hey, was that a bad loss?
No.
No. No, it's Notre Dame in Las Vegas.
They're going to be back in the top 25 after
this. Yes. They'll be in the top 25 again.
Yes.
Okay, so give it a few weeks and then let the emotions cool for BYU fans, and more of that national perspective and logic can set in.
I said that Saturday night in the heat of the moment.
Give it a few weeks.
Like 60 replies. No!
That's terrible. You're right. Yeah, so you were asking for it in a way because it's in the moment, but it's fun that way.
I know what I'm doing. By the way, UCLA 6-0. And
I don't want to talk about it, Jarom.
Kind of legit.
I was trying to avoid this conversation.
Hey, but they beat Utah.
They beat Utah, and
that was a great win.
I said to our senior coordinating producer, Junior Phillips, I hate this because I have to admit that UCLA might actually be good.
Now, let's not overdo it. It is midway through the season. And our hope is that Oregon is the best team of the Pac-12.
For sure.
And then you go, see, that was a hard
We
game.
shall see. No, the BYU loss to Notre Dame is absolutely frustrating, impactful, head-scratching. It's painful for sure.
No,
but it's not from a logical lens and frame a bad loss. If that's BYU's worst loss of the year to Notre Dame, my goodness.
Like we're concerned about at Liberty. Like that would be
and at Boise State for that matter, because Boise State is playing better football.
I would argue that traditionally at Boise State's not a bad loss.
They're 4-2 now. They're 3-0.
They're getting better.
They're getting better. They got Dirk Cutter back. They fired an offensive coordinator because they were so bad.
Can you imagine BYU brings back like Gary Croton to run its offense mid-season? Like how weird that would be. Yeah, not a bad loss with Notre Dame.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not. All right, let's move on. Topic 2. Lots to be concerned with right now with the Cougars, obviously, which is funny. We're sitting there 4-2, not trending in a great direction, but 4-2. What's your number one concern with Arkansas bearing down on the Cougars Saturday right now?
I know there are a lot. Injuries led by Jaron Hall, run game on offense and defense. The kicking game is a situation.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Ryan Rico seems to have figured some things out, though. So the punting game is starting to come around, which is nice. So that helps the special teams. But it's a clear answer for me, Jarom, and it is the slow starts. BYU has had one fast start in 6 games.
Yep.
It was at USF. They
Healthy
were 21-0.
Puka
Yeah, how about that? Explosive play. First play from scrimmage of the season goes 75 yards for a touchdown. The pick 6 by Max Tooley. Outside of that first quarter in Tampa, BYU has played 5 really, really mediocre and in some ways bad first halves.
Yeah.
So for me, it is the slow starts that are concerning because at this point, 5 games in a row, that's a trend.
Absolutely.
It's a trend.
3 games is a trend.
And I don't like that trend. Yeah. I asked yesterday a few of the players, how do you get better and start quicker? What's the key? Jaron Hall told me on the weekend, it's be better on first down. Okay, sustain some drives. That starts with being better on first down. I believe that BYU being better on first down will happen, even against Arkansas, against anybody remaining on the schedule, because Arkansas's defense has been generous at times, even up front with those SEC big men, right?
They're banged up on defense.
Right.
Yeah.
With a purposeful downhill run game. I would not have any issue if BYU ran the ball 12 times on their first 3 drives. Okay? No, just purposeful downhill running game. You got the crowd behind you. You're at home. It's a wideout. Emotion's good there. Arkansas is beat up. If you want to be better on first down, it's that simple. Better, more purposeful downhill run game with Chris Brooks, who I think is starting to gain some confidence. He should anyway, right after what he did against Notre Dame.
And he's had a couple of games now, 3 with 90-plus yards? He's clearly the best running back BYU has. By the way, you remember Friday after Utah State, I said I'm concerned about Miles Davis and Jaron Hall.
Yep.
Miles Davis didn't even play in the Notre Dame.
No, he did
didn't
not.
even dress.
He did tell me that he is positioning to be back for the Arkansas game.
That's great news.
So Miles Davis should be back. He is likely to play on
That was
Saturday.
not a big deal after that game. I was telling you I was concerned, and unfortunately, I was right on that.
Stinks.
These injuries are a big deal. Chase Roberts, did he even dress against Notre Dame?
No.
Okay, the last 2 games. This is an issue. Obviously, BYU didn't get the ball out. Okay, my number one concern, I agree with you, slow starts. Second quarter, 22 rushing yards on the season. This is pathetic.
I'm so tired of 8 minutes time of possession in the first half.
So it's not about the running game then. It's about.
Well, if you run the ball, then you hold on to the ball longer.
It's
you
about,
give your defense more rest.
I think it starts with the defense getting off the field. It starts there.
Okay.
And then on offense,
Okay.
you've got to sustain drives. So the controllable there is Cougar Stats put out this morning, 12 3 and outs in the first half this season. 3 against Notre Dame, 2 were 1 and out, as you pointed out yesterday. The other team dominates, takes BYU out in the 2 losses, right? It's particularly in Oregon, Notre Dame. Average time possession of BYU's losses is 24 minutes to 36 for the opponent. Rushing yards, 205 allowed, both north of 24 points. Let's talk about 24
Let's do the Bronco roll.
points.
Bring it back.
It's the BYU Sports Nation stat of the day.
Okay, BYU is 20-1 since 2020 when allowing 24 or fewer points. Bronco Mendenhall said this is a metric that they looked at. 5-5 when allowing 25 plus. That 24 number is a big deal.
Yes.
By the way, Houston in 2020, the only team that BYU's beaten when allowing 24 or more. So it's a big deal. The defense has got to play better. And do we feel like Arkansas is going to score 24 or fewer? Like feels like a very important causation, not correlation with BYU's success.
So the one loss, because Coastal Carolina scored 22 points, right?
But they won.
That's the one. That's the one loss over this span, right?
That's the one loss.
That's
yes.
Coastal Carolina.
Yes.
That's it.
You're right. Houston's in that 5-5 zone of a loss.
Wild.
It's only Coastal. So when BYU knows they're playing the game on Monday, they're undefeated when allowing 24 or fewer. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up. That's a big deal. BYU's defense, I think the defense has got to play better. And if Jaron Hall can't throw the ball at the same level, then the run game needs to turn up. Because I think Aaron Roderick has looked at the inconsistency of the run game and said, well, I'm going to put the ball in Jaron Hall's hands, which is the right thing to do. But now maybe you have to reassess in some way if his shoulder isn't 100%. Now, maybe it was a minor thing, and this week he gets better and BYU's good, and they can chuck it around. Because, look, if BYU's receivers are healthy, and even unhealthy, they've been really good. Like, I'm very excited about how awesome this receiving core is. I would just like them all to be on the field. Is Gunnar Romney okay? It sounds like he's going to be okay, but when you take him to the hospital, that concerns me again.
I would be shocked if he plays this Saturday. That's me speculating based on what I saw.
Kalani and Ed acted like they were fine, but maybe that's
my goodness,
gamesmanship.
please, if he can play, awesome news.
Okay, because look, again, let's just list them out and how they perform this year. Like, what guy don't you trust? I trust all of them. Puka Nacua, Gunnar Romney, Chase Roberts, Keanu Hill. Cody Epps is the 5th one I brought up. He might be the best receiver on the team right now. The way he's playing with 25 catches leads the team. 5 touchdowns leads the team.
Touchdowns.
Like Cody Epps might be the best receiver on the team right now. Like he's performing like the guy we thought when BYU signed him. This is a loaded group. Braden Cosper. Like,
look at that. Look at Gunnar
mackerel.
Romney and Puka Nacua at the bottom of that list.
What?
That is nuts.
Okay, when Cody Epps signed, where'd he go? Mater Day, right? With Bryce Young? Was that
Mater Day, yeah.
He was a first-team All-American by the USA Today. Like 28 touchdowns, 1,700 yards or something crazy. And Bryce Young's his quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner eventually, and perhaps #1 pick. And it was like, dude, how did BYU get this guy? He's injured. He's redshirting, da-da-da. Now that he's healthy, this guy's a dude. And Keanu Hill's a dude. And Braden Cosper is the next evolution of, Dax Milne and Gunnar Romney. Like, why not? Let's get the ball to these guys. Let's establish the run, and let's do what we thought this offense would be, Spence, which is dominate.
High points.
What if BYU put up 40 and just dominate this weekend? Let's go.
More time of possession,
But SEC,
more points.
it's tough.
Yes. Try and help your defense out a little bit. You know what's crazy? As I look at that list, one thing before we go to Voice of the Nation here. BYU, tell me one game this year where they have had every big-time player available in the game.
Didn't have it in game 1.
Nope.
So it's no games. Gunnar Romney
games.
was out.
no games. Either Gunner or Puka or Chase.
Honestly, it's not been that big of a deal because these, like Braden Costin's like, well, then throw me the ball.
BYU's 4-2 in spite of this.
Yes. Which that group has overperformed tremendously. They've been great.
BYU has not had all of their primary guys available all together in one game this season.
But Jaron's there. The O-line's healthy. That's important.
That core is super crucial, for sure.
But the running backs haven't been fully healthy. Like, you don't have all three every game.